that he already presented to you. I have facts, constituency by constituency.
Get ready for the ultimate political showdown every Sunday at 6 p.m. Join the dynamic 괰ᴏᴛ, your trusted guide through the maze of politics and current affairs. Political Roundtable,
where the sharpest mind dissect the hottest topic shaping our world today.
Don't miss out on the conversation everyone will be talking about.
Join 괰ᴛ as he dives deep into the heart of the matters, exploring the issues that matters most to you.
And there is no subsidy in that sector, according to the government. So what you have, and the government is very reluctant to accept this, that we are funding the discos, they are cash-strapped. And so the government is trying to raise money for them. And that is why...
Tune in to Political Roundtable every Sunday at 6 p.m. only on Mainland 98.3 FM. Political Roundtable, where politics meets passion. Stay informed, stay engaged. Stay engaged.
All right, it's time for Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is 괰ᴏʟʟᴛ. This is the show where we look at the major issues in the political space. And today is the last show for the year 2024. It's been an interesting ride on the show. Very interesting because we've touched on a lot of issues, really. Major issues shaping the political space, policy issues, issues of, political parties, disagreement, gladiators, policy issues, and quite a lot of interesting conversations we've had on the show in the year 2024. And it's a big glory to God that, of course, we have the opportunity to be on the show again, to talk about policy issues. And incidentally, this is going to be the last show for the year 2024. By the time we are back on the show next week, we will be saying Happy New Year 2025. And so in the spirit of the new year, the festive period, we're going to take it very easy today. Just enjoy ourselves on the show. Have it simple, just have it in a very simple way, make it so easy. Let's enjoy ourselves. Let's just have some form of retrospect, a review of all of the major issues that have happened in the last 12 months. I've been able to summarize all of those issues into 10 key issues. I'm sure if we decide to do a list, we'll probably get to over 1,000. But I think the list I have here, just 10 of them, captures what has happened in the last 12 months properly. So it's going to be year in review 2024, 10 political or policy issues that shaped Nigeria in the year 2024. All of the major political issues that got us talking when it comes to politics, policies in the year 2024 in Nigeria. I've decided to leave out global issues, so let's just focus on Nigeria, because if we talk about global issues, of course, the US election would also come into the conversation. But I think it's just important that we focus on Nigeria. And I have a list of 10 major political issues or policy issues that I think got us all talking when it comes to our beloved country, Nigeria. The first one has to be the feud or the fallout between Wike and Fubara, the godfather-godson relationship that has gone south between the former governor of Rivers State and the current governor, who have worked together in the past and suddenly have become sworn enemies in the political space. So that's the first issue for me. The second one has to be the End Bad Governance protest that also shook the fabric of the country. It was a major talking point. In fact, like no other issue, we saw government ministers, representatives, security operatives all addressing, making speeches, as the notice for that particular protest was given by the civil society organizations, and eventually the protest happened, and it will, of course, be on record as one of the major talking points in the year 2024 when it comes to the political space. And then, of course, we also had two off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo State. So those two elections, for me, happens to be, one of the major talking points when it comes to the political space. And then, of course, eventually, it's been speculated, the rumor, but eventually, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu decided to reshuffle his cabinet. Cabinet reshuffle, cabinet move around, people were expecting him to drop members, whereas some were dropped and more were added. So it was also a major talking point in the year 2024. And then the Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy was also a major talking point in the year 2024. And so, whether we like it or not, those are issues I consider very important in the political space. We also have the tussle, the Kano Emirates crisis, that has produced two emirs in the ancient city of Kano. And then, against all expectations, despite all of the doubts and the fears, the Port Harcourt refinery roared back to life. According to government, the refinery is working. So it was also a major talking point. And then the tax reforms bill, that has seen a National Assembly that has worked together in unison. They've been, despite the political party differences, it's almost like, it's a one-party situation in the House. But for the first time, we saw a major policy issue that has divided the House like no time that we've seen in this particular 10th Assembly. And then the stampede in Oyo, Abuja, and then Anambra State, resulting to over 50 Nigerians losing their lives. And then, finally, from my own list here, we have the president's first media chat as president. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu eventually spoke to the media via what is called the media chat. So those are the 10 issues: Wike-Fubara Fallout, Tinubu's cabinet reshuffle, end bank governance protest, Edo and Ondo governorship elections, Supreme Court judgment on local government autonomy, Kano Emirates crisis, Port Harcourt refinery, tax reforms bill, mass deaths from Stampedes in Oyo, Anambra and Abuja, and then President Tinubu's first media chat. So we're going to look at all of these issues. Luckily, we have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio with us today. We have Nuruddin Adigbenu in the studio with us also today. So we will take these issues one after the other. Just look at it. What are the major takeaways? They can actually bring their own talking points. So these are just my own 10 most important issues in the political space. While we are doing that, we also take some time to look at Rivers State crisis. It's a state that has a lot of talking points when it comes to politics. Interestingly, the former governor of Rivers State, Mr. Dr. Peter Odili, made a statement. Governor Emeritus. He is qualified to be called Governor Emeritus.
He produced all of them.
Because from this tree, the fruit is being a tree of governors after governors from that particular tree. And he's saying that Governor Fubara prevented Wike from making Rivers his private estate. That whatever Fubara is doing now is to prevent Nyesom Wike from turning Rivers State into his private estate. Again, that goes with the first issue that I consider one of the most important issues in the political space in the year 2024. So we're going to look at that while we're looking at this fallout between Wike and Fubara. And then finally, we're going to, of course, dissect the presidential media chart. I don't think it happened, I think, on Monday. And we've not really been able to, on the roundtable, dissect it. In some of our other shows, we've talked about it, but it's just good that, we allow analysts on political roundtable bear their mind on what the president had to say all through that particular media chat. So it's going to be an interesting political roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. Nice to have you in the studio, Barrister Curtis Adigba, the final show for the year 2024.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for the food and drink yesterday at the end of the year party. Yeah. And I want to thank the management of Mainland FM for deeming it fit to organizing such an event for their staff. I mean, just to say thank you. You guys have done a great job in the course of the year, and I think that's a good outcome.
All right, thank you so much, Barrister, and thank you for also honoring our invitation to be a part of that little thing, really, just to show our staff that we value them and say thank you to them for the selflessness, the sacrifice, and dedication to their job. Nurudeen Adegbenro was absent at the party, but he had another party to attend. So,
and he did a Tommy or something in the morning.
No,
so he
So after he told me, I saw that he practically ran out of the studio, because I think he was putting a young husband and wife together in marriage.
I think you put it on your on your update, right?
Yes,
I saw it.
So
yes.
he was like the major person to put the latest couple in town. If you permit us to say so. Nice to have you on the show this evening. The last show for the year 2024. An interesting year by all standards.
This 2024 in Yoruba they call it Ogologo year. This year is Ogologo year, and we thank God at least we are still alive.
Yes.
Irrespective of all the challenges, we are still alive. And what a way to really wrap up this particular year. And that is what is certain. But another thing again is that Merry Christmas to all our listeners. There are a lot of them everywhere, and they should stay with us so that by next year it's going to be
a bigger show.
A very good year for everyone.
Well, it's been a challenging year. If you call it a Gbólógbó show, I think there are several names people have given to the year 2024. But I think from my own observation and from some of the feedbacks I've gotten from people, I think there's one thing they are grateful for, they are thankful for. That's the fact that they are still alive. Like you always say, let's just thank God for life, because things have actually happened, right, Sağ?
I think there's a place in the Bible that says that a living dog is better than a dead lion. The fact that we are alive is something we should all
be grateful for,
and especially to thank our listeners. I mean, there are competing shows. I have never seen a group of dedicated listeners. Sunday after Sunday, they find the time to listen and to call us.
Yes.
We are grateful for your support.
All right. I like that. That aspect of the conversation. That look, without our ardent listeners who have been loyal all through the year, we would not be here. The reason why we come to the studio every Sunday is because we know there are people out there waiting for us to come dissect these issues. For some of them will even prompt us before the show.
I get messages on Facebook asking me, "Are you going to the studio today?"
Yeah. so that in itself, it gives some level of assurance that look, Nigerians appreciate the little that we are able to do to set the agenda on Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. My Sağ is the last show for the year, so we take it very easy. We just enjoy ourselves. Let's just.
Where's the cook now? With the popcorn.
We'll do that after the show.
Okay.
We're going to enjoy ourselves. Again, season greetings to all our listeners. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It's been an interesting and intriguing year. So we're going to start. I did a list of 10. Like I said, the first one for me has to be the Wike-Fubara Fallout. We also have the cabinet reshuffle. End bad governance protests was a major issue 2024. Ondo governorship elections. Supreme Court judgment on LG autonomy. Kano Emirates crisis. We say I have two emirs in Kano, whether we like it or not. That's the situation. We also have the Port Harcourt Refinery news that solidly roared back to life. The tax reforms bill has to be another major conversation. Mass death from Stampedes in Oyo, Anambra, and Abuja, and then Tinubu's first media chart. Is there anything missing on the list, Barrister Nurudeen, before we start to take this one after the other?
Well, I think the only thing missing is how your name was removed from the ministerial list.
I was never going to be on that list. I was never going to be on the list, But let's look
I think this is enough for one show.
Yes.
There are too many as well.
That's why we're going to take it easy, maybe lump one or two issues together so that we can eventually still open the phone lines for our listeners to be a part of the show this evening. Now, River State is always very dramatic, and I don't know.
The irony is that this issue a problem. And a a problem that has refused to go away.
Go away,
because of lack of political will and because of lack of conscience. That is even making the list of our conversation as an important issue to be discussed. Tells you that the focus of those that have been given
the opportunity
to govern this country at different levels actually do not know what they are doing, most of them. You know, like Wike himself said, it was a bad business investment. And when you acknowledge as a businessman, not as a leader now, because that's the way he framed their relationship. When you acknowledge that your investment perhaps went wrong, all you do as a good businessman is to reposition. And you learn the lessons from the bad investment, never to repeat it again, and you move forward. And he said that. Do you understand? Now, like I said before, politics is conflictual. There's conflicts all over in politics. But the question is, what are the conflicts about? Is it the conflict between Wike and Fubara, or rather between Wike camp and Fubara's camp today? Is it about the size of the budget for water? Is it about the size of the budget for school, hospitals?
In River State.
To combat infant and mortality. Is it about the budget for roads? Do you understand? Is it about the budget for welfare? No. It's simply about who controls what or who gets what.
Sorry to cut him, Mr. Curtis, so that we'll try and put these things together. You call him Governor Emeritus,
yes.
Dr. Peter Odili. Just probably agreeing with what you have just said.
Yes.
I said that, look, what Fubara has done basically is to stop one man from making River State his private estate.
And he knows what he's saying. Don't forget that this was the same Governor Odili.
Yes.
Because the proprietor of Pomo Hospital, Amechi was his worker. When he ran for governor, Amechi ran for House of Assembly. He made Amechi speaker for 2 terms.
Yes.
Wike was a local government chairman under the same Odili.
Odili that is talking now.
In fact, according to Wike's testimony, when he was dropped by 괰ᴜ as the chairman of the party in River State, PDP, he ran to Mrs. Odili, Justice Odili now, and complained. And the woman went to her husband, and Secondus was summoned back to government house. And that was how his name made the list.
The list as
local government chairman. Now,
I like this story because there are people who think Wike just fell from heaven to become.
So that's how he became local government chairman. And then when Amechi won the primaries of the PDP to become governor. And Obasanjo came out and said the thing had K-leg. Odili tried and tried and tried. He didn't know what to do. Eventually picked Celestine Omeha. Until Omeha won the election of the ticket of the PDP and was sworn in. But you will recall that Ifeanyi Ararume of the PDP had won the same ticket in Imo. While Amechi won in River State. Now, Obasanjo took the tickets from both men. In the case of Imo State, he gave it to Sylvester Ugu. So they went to court, and the Supreme Court ruled in the case of Ararume that Ararume was the rightful candidate of the party. And immediately, former President Obasanjo announced that Ararume had been expelled from the party. Thereby
they tell you want it, but we expect you from the party.
Thereby making the judgment of the court unenforceable.
Since the man has been expelled from the party.
He's no longer a member of the party. Now, in the case of Amechi, when the matter went to the court, Amechi's lawyers argued, telling the Supreme Court that if the court found that Amechi was a rightful candidate, the court should also make a consequential order, asking that he be sworn in as the governor. Immediately. I remember that Joseph Ogunta then said, young man, don't worry, we know what to do. We are justices of the Supreme Court. So when that matter came before them, once they found that Amechi was the rightful candidate of the party, they made a consequential order asking that he be sworn in. And then they said votes belong to political parties, not individual. I think they walked a little bit away from that now. So the same Amechi, there was a protege to Odili.
Odili, yeah.
Appointed Wike as chief of staff.
So the link, can you see the
Yes.
link? Yeah.
So when Amechi was going to be investigated by the EFCC because he was having problem with then President Jonathan.
Yes.
And they couldn't get him because he had immunity. They went for Wike. Amechi was keeping Wike in the government house so that nobody could reach him. And then at some point Amechi and Wike began to have their issues, and he moved to the center and became minister. That was the time.
State for education.
Yes, that was the time
Jonathan
Jonathan and Amechi were already having problem because of the issues between Amechi and Jonathan's wife. So Wike was appointed minister to spite Amechi.
So that was how he aligned himself.
And he aligned himself with Jonathan.
But does he break the chain?
No, and it was from Jonathan that he got the ticket of the PDP to go and be governor in Rivers State, because Amechi had favored a minority in the state. Peter side.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So, and Wike, because from Obiakpo and an 꽞ᴜ man, they had the majority, and he became governor.
And then I think it was Jonathan's wife, now Patience, who was really giving all the
significant role.
backing.
Yes, and let me even give you another link how Odili kept Wike in power. That election was so contentious. Wike had lost the first round.
Yes.
By the electoral tribunal.
Yes.
It took the intervention of Justice Odili.
Justice Mary Odili.
Odili, yes. So, and that was why Wike himself openly declared that Odili was his leader. At the time when Wike was busy fighting Amechi, that he had now consolidated as Odili's enemy.
So
Odili was his leader.
So that was the leader you could listen to at that time.
You remember there was a time that some policemen invaded the residence of Justice Odili?
Yes.
And Wike had to drive there with
the middle of the night.
Middle of the night.
That was under Buhari. Yeah.
But today, Odili is a demon. You know why? Because Odili simply told Wike, you have been a governor.
Use your time.
I was governor. Amechi was governor. We all know the power of a governor. Allow this young man to rule and to perform his duty as governor. And today, Wike responded to what Odili said when he said, if he wasn't for Fubara taking the stand against Wike, he would have made Rivers State his personal estate. Of course, everybody saw that when he was governor. Rivers State was a personal estate. He could go to your building and demolish it if you didn't support him. In fact, during the COVID lockdown, personally, he was on the road visiting people's hotels and knocking down some of the hotels belonging to
political enemies
and opponents. And today, you know what he said to Odili? When I was governor, you had my pictures in your bedroom, in your kitchen, in your sitting room, and even in your toilet. And again, look, so it speaks to some level of immaturity that you cannot disagree with people and still stay calm.
You are ready to spill the beans, mess everything up, tear it apart, tear it down.
I know that he helped Odili. He helped Odili not because Odili was poor. He wanted to win the support of the bigger political gladiators in the state to his side. Even other George Rufus, former governor, he reached out to almost all of them.
All of them.
But they told him, young man, allow this. You helped him. Someone must help another person.
It's just what it is.
We have a proverb in my place. They say your child, no matter how young and how small the child is, put him on your shoulders. He becomes taller than you. That's how power is. You have helped him. Now, Tinubu also helped you to become minister. You didn't make yourself minister.
Are you saying you will face Tinubu one day?
Oh, well, you know what? People don't change. Characters don't change fundamentally. When the way he has acted and dealt with everybody that has helped him in the past, if Tinubu drops him today as a minister,
he's going to.
They also you are going to find him in the same situation with Tinubu. So, my hope is that the year 2025 will lead to a smothering, the calming down of this tension in Rivers State, so that this governor can focus on his job if Wike is so powerful in the state, 2027 is almost here with us, right? He should get ready and mobilize his forces and ensure that Fubara is defeated at the polls.
At the polls.
But this constant bickering, fighting, attacking people, calling names, and not allowing the state to dwell in peace and then focus on the real issues, I don't think it's healthy for Rivers State or any state in the country at all.
All right, it's not healthy, but Fubara is also talking. He's found his voice really, not as much as the minister, his former godfather, but he's also been talking. I've seen him, say a few things. And on this statement by Dr. Peter Odili, what he said at that particular event was that, look, God has proved himself worthy as the ultimate liberator of the state and its people because he ensured total triumph over the political crisis and those behind it. But Fubara stated that while the political antagonism lasted, God gave him a new perspective to leadership. He said what has happened has strengthened him, giving him the thick skin. He now has a different perspective to leadership. And the perspective, according to Governor Fubara, is to use the resources of the state to work for the people. The only governor that gave the biggest largesse to the people of a state. 100,000 naira bonus to all civil servants.
3 days to
Christmas of the state. Is that the new perspective to leadership that Governor Fubara is talking about, Nuruddin?
Fuhad, look, for 2024, if I want to, I'm talking about political journey now, not in terms of performance. I think I have to pick Fubara as the governor of the year. Looking at the trouble, you remember when he started, a lot of people said he doesn't have political whatever, he doesn't have anything, and we said it on this roundtable that somebody is a governor. When he's a governor, that when he's ready to use his power, I'm telling you, it's going to be very difficult. In fact, he's a kind of a lenient governor. You remember how Wike stopped Atiku from campaigning in Rivers State? That is how powerful. If he didn't want Wike to be entering Rivers State, he won't. If you remove even with the federal power, if you want to make sure there's going to be crisis when he visited, he can make sure that with the power that we have in the hand of the governor. But for now, I think one thing that is during the week before the Christmas, he opened very long road.
He's been commissioning
roads. So automatically, if the way he has started now, and truly he wants to be using the resources of the state, for instance, now, if somebody is a gatesman in the state civil service of Rivers State, and 3 days to Christmas, you are giving 100,000 naira. It shows. It shows. At least we have one local government in Lagos State here, also Onigbongbo LCDA.
Yes.
Every civil servant, even the gatesman, whatever, everybody across the board, half bag of rice, one big chicken, and 30,000 naira. Everybody.
I forgot there now. You tell me.
But
everybody.
Maybe those people didn't want people to know.
What you
don't announce them.
No, they did. In fact, that day that they were going home,
the queue would have been much.
No, what they did was that
all the staff of the local government.
Staff.
Oh, that's nice.
So it really shows that maybe because the chairman now was the former vice chairman. You remember the chairman
one
that
died.
Kia now become.
So he's also trying to just.
Then the vice chairman. So and that one was. So one thing there is that if Fubara can give people dividend of democracy. He has started with road. Let us see what he's going to do on schools. Let us see what he's going to do on hospital, road infrastructure, good governance in all ramifications, good treatment of the civil servant. Don't turn civil servant into a don or turning them into a slave. And at the same time, let him focus on something that can make the life of Rivers people better. To be better. I think with that, it's going to go a long way to really shape. And one thing about Rivers is this. If you give them the dividend of democracy, they turn you to their leader. When they turn you to their leader, not even president. And what did Wike use during the time of Muhammadu Buhari? So automatically, Fubara, if he can, the way he has started, and can take care of the boys on the streets, those boys in the creeks, if he can take care of them, I'm telling you, by ending of 2025, he can beat his chest that the next election, irrespective of the political party, is going to be a walkover.
All right, you think Fubara is your the governor of the year because of his political travels, how he's been able to weather the storm, steady the ship. He now looks very calm, Mr. Curtis. When you see him talk now, he's so calm.
There's also one interesting intrigue about what is going on. Considering that Wike controls the house, you want to
the other house. You only have 2 houses.
No, look, the general house as recognized by court.
Court, okay.
Wike has the majority. He has 2/3.
But the governor does not still recognize them.
Yes. Now, but have you ever wondered why they are not talking about impeaching him?
Actually, it's the house that sits.
Yes.
That is going to move impeachment.
No, they are
They've been sitting. They've been sitting.
But they can't say that now.
No, see, they have been sitting. And the reason why they are not pushing for impeachment is because they do not have support of the Rivers people.
So the backlash.
Yes, the backlash, they knew. And also, they are also shaky because they announced publicly that they are no longer members of the PDP. That's what is in court. And so, even though there is this attitude of we don't care, upbeat attitude where this and that and that and that and that, you notice that when it comes to really fighting, they are not fighting.
They are not.
You think that maybe some of them would have started to regret their actions? They might not be public about it because I don't think they've even enjoyed quote and unquote now being legislators in the state. That's it. You never drink water.
You remember what happened in Edo State?
In Edo State, yes.
Where some of them went to go and stay with Adams in Abuja. Because at the point, Adams couldn't keep them happy. They came back to the state. Some of them went to the governor to start begging.
Because I look at these 23 House of Assembly members, it's been one trouble. In fact, the so-called speaker of the faction, anytime he talks, you see he looks stressed, he looks tired. You know, he struggles to put out his words.
He didn't present budget to them, and at the same time, he did not even allow them to have that kind of luxury they could have. No car. I don't think he are getting salary. No allowance. The house is allocated to the legislative whatever. They are not even staying there. I don't think so. So with all this.
But by Curtis, do you think it was a wrong decision for them to have even made an attempt to want to leave the PDP for the APC? You know, this defection.
All they did was,
because what was the reason for the defection? They could have remained in the PDP and still continue to cause this trouble.
The stage drama was for the audience of one.
Just the audience of one man,
Wike, so that he can boast in Abuja, Mr. President, these are my boys.
And I'll move them to your party. But what? Look, if it's about impressing just one man, so as to now tell the president that look, they are still with me. I control the structure of the state. I've told them to move. But if he is so strategic, I'm talking of some Wike now, to still remain in the PDP,
yes,
why not share the same strategy with these guys?
You are sitting here thinking that he's as strategic as you think he is. So here's the problem with politicians. Like I said before, even when they are lying, and they know they are lying, and they don't believe in the lies, they still want you and I to believe that they are telling the truth.
So they force the lie on us.
Yes.
And at some point they want us to even start to lie to ourselves about their own lie.
Yes, this is a show. Why you and I are expecting governance, to them it's a show. I told you about the local government chairman who told me why I'm not contesting the election. And when I said, look, this is not the environment that I think I can function very well. He said, well, just be speaking all the grammar at the TV station. The real business in town is government. They control all the business. So if you want to make money, go to government and make money. So for them, it's a show. Now, I mean, in the course of the week, okay, Wike was in town to see the president with his 2 sons.
Yeah, with his 2 sons, yes, we saw that.
There's nothing wrong with that. But, I mean, it points to shines the light clearly on the attitude.
That we are still together.
You understand? And here,
just for the optics.
He had already announced that to the Rivers people. While he was meeting with them, he talked about his fantastic relationship with the president. I said, look, I'm even going with my sons to see Mr. President to pay him a Christmas a courtesy visit.
Is there a message in that?
Well, I think the message is that, look, the relationship between me and the president transcends just politics.
Because I can take my 2 sons to say hello to him.
You know, and those children, good luck, they will never forget about that.
That they met with the president.
Of course, they met with the president of the country. They had a good time with him. Yes. You know, and I'm happy for them.
Okay, well, but it's still on Wike and his relationship with the president. He's still, talking to his critics. And one of the things he has said, which I want us to talk about, again, trying to probe into the minds of our political leaders, how they think, what goes on in their mind and head. He's saying that, look, you people are criticizing me for not bringing any project so far, despite my relationship with the president.
I'm FCT minister.
State, that despite the FCT minister and the closeness to the Mr. President, there has not been any major project that I've been able to bring to Rivers State. But he said that, look, Rivers today has the highest position in this government. Does having so many positions in the government translate to really helping a state develop?
This has been the mindset of our people. Now, the reason why we fight so much for political power and the reason why we are so concerned about where these gladiators come from is because of the mentality that when you have a man from your place in government,
yes,
it will attract projects and there will be people from your area will be appointed into positions and money will be available from their activities.
So the more the appointment, the better for the people.
But you know what?
Yes.
The data that we have suggests that the contrary is the case.
Yes.
When Obasanjo was president, how much of projects did they attract to Yoruba land? Even the road leading to his farm at Ota.
Whether the whole of Ota or Ogun State felt.
When Jonathan was president, what did they achieve for the South? In fact,
even
while he was campaigning to be re-elected, he said, I'm a Nigerian president. People are saying I didn't do anything for my people. But they forget that I'm a president of Nigeria, not the president of South or Otuoke.
So the number of appointments.
David Mark, as president of the Senate for 8 years, what did they attract to Benue?
To Benue.
No, let's tell ourselves the truth. So what happened is that we are a country that believes that once someone from your area is appointed to, that's why you see all the congratulations, newspapers, Facebook and all that.
Yes.
They don't see it as a duty or responsibility. You recall that Wike,
yes,
when he was appointed chairman of
Nikon.
No, not Nikon.
Debt management.
No, this insurance company.
Yes,
that is responsible for
and
paying.
It became a big problem, really. Yes, for
paying banks,
yeah,
bank depositors.
Depositors, yes.
NDIC.
Nigerian Deposit Insurance Company.
Yes.
You
remember that he gave a speech where he said, I've received so many congratulatory messages and I'm worried. This is a responsibility, a duty that I have been given.
And I'm even afraid on how to deliver on the job.
Exactly.
But people are congratulating me.
So this is the whole thing. And then because of that, they go home now. You saw what happened. I don't know if you watched what happened yesterday when the deputy speaker, Kalu, went to his community.
Yes.
In fact, it was shown live on NTA.
Yeah, we saw it, and he gave a lot of, keke, marua,
and all those things out.
Sewing machine, the usual empowerment,
Thank you.
And co.
So this is why you see our people fight so much for position. And Wike will tell you that because Wike has used his position to attract so many appointments from River State.
Yes.
One of them was getting the National Assembly, the Senate, to amend the NDDC Act.
Yes.
And then inject a third position for an executive director, which was what he boasted about himself. And don't forget that Alain Dume said those things were done without passing through the Senate.
It was just,
You understand? Now, Wike also got a Rivers man to be appointed, I think, as the DG of Ogun River Basin Authority,
yes.
That caused some, controversy. And then there are underground appointments left, right, and center. So on that score, Wike is right. If
they have the highest number of appointments.
If more appointments translates to an achievement for the state,
he's right on that.
He's right on that.
Okay.
But we have not seen the result on ground.
Okay.
What we have seen is that some big boys
have emerged.
From
those appointments.
But
not necessarily in the lives of the people of Rivers State.
No.
Nuruddin, Wike is saying that, look, again, he's talked about the fact that, look, removing secondos was for the sake of Fubara. That, look, one of the problems he had, that, look, the people Fubara has now turned to his friends, were people he fought for the sake of Fubara. And that, look, those are the reasons why I feel so bitter about this old Fubara thing. That, look, the people I made my enemies just to take you from nowhere. You were never in the calculation. If you had listed 1 to 1 million people who could become governor in the state, you would not have made the list. But I stepped on toes. I removed people. I forced people to resign just to produce you, and suddenly the hand that I decided to feed, the teeth I sharpened is now the teeth you are using to bite me.
You remember that Wike was Minister 2 of Education before he became substantive minister.
Yes.
When Rotimi Amaechi
Yes.
suggested that he should be made minister, deputy minister then. Remember that those people at that particular time, Jonathan, his wife, and Rotimi, they are on the same page until something happened.
Yes. The division happened.
How come he was dallying with Jonathan and his wife that Rotimi Amaechi introduced him to? Look,
It's our interest.
it's just about interest. And one thing that is so certain here is this: he did not look what he did to Secondos is because of his own personal interest.
Thank you.
He wanted to run
For president.
because of Jopo
So it's not really a Fubara thing.
No, it's not. Then another thing again is this: look, why did he supported Fubara to become a governorship candidate? Is because of his own personal interest too. And one thing there is that in politics, every politician has his own interest. Now, the political interest of Fubara lies in all other important personality in the state.
He's bringing in.
But another thing again is this: I do tell people, whether we like it or not, you can only have your time. You can't have all the time. I don't know, maybe Wike has not known that currently now, the fight that he's fighting, there is no way he can win it.
But
there is no way, because he has used his time. On 2027, Fubara can lose can win. That is not the issue. But at his speed now,
you don't think he can win the fight?
Look,
this one.
Let me tell you, I think that politicians don't learn from history, and history don't repeat itself. It is the rhymes of history
that keeps coming back.
Coming back. Wike should look back to history. Wike would have seen that the same thing happened between Akpabio and Emmanuel Udom.
Yes.
And then he shellacked Akpabio so badly that even when his electoral loss in the state, the Senate, when the court quashed
that is now
that
said no.
I
know one again. I know they do again.
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, with you, yes.
In Benue, we saw it. Akume and Suswan. Akume and Otom.
And Akume now and the current governor.
Now the current governor. Look, and then you have these political leaders gathering around these jaded leaders, and at the end of the day, they won't be able to move the envelope forward in favor of these guys. But what they do is continue to produce conflict after conflict. And then detract the attention of the governor from doing what he needs to do. Now, there's a proverb in my place. It says that because the woman who was pregnant lost the baby, it provided an opportunity for the man to impregnate her again. It was an opportunity that proceeded from a very bad experience. Now, the only good thing that has come out of what is happening in Rivers State is that because Fubara knows that his future depends on the people.
If he can win the people to his side,
he has made them his focus now, and is going to deliver. So the people will take the benefit. I have a friend who used to pray, may God sow discord in the midst of our political leaders so that the people can benefit.
So they just start to focus on us, not themselves.
Yes.
So you think it's good eventually?
So you discover that, given the problem that Wike was having in the state with Amaechi and all that, Wike did all he did to prove to Rivers people that I'm your man.
I'm your man, yes.
I'm fighting for you. Amaechi and co
and they fought for him.
And they fought for him.
And he was able to win them to his side.
It was like what happened in America. When Obama bailed out the auto industry in America, Mitt Romney, his challenger, was saying, let them die. Let them die so that they can spring up. But Obama bailed the auto industry.
So won them to his side.
Saved them. When it was time for election, the auto industry guys were saying, he saved our jobs, let's save his. Okay? So this is the spirit that Fubara has adopted. Now that I don't have that big nozzle hanging over my head.
Yes. No godfather, no nothing, no obligation, no commitment, nothing.
Thing that is working for him again is this: a situation in which, apart from Wike, all the former governors, with their body language, with their physical appearance,
they are with him.
They are with him. Even Rotimi Amaechi, that is not even in his
He's not
party.
talking, but I'm sure
but
somewhere.
You see his soldiers also working for Fubara. And one thing that is
the
there
enemy
is
of my enemy is my enemy.
And another thing again is, that is so important there is this: if we could have a situation in every state that political godfathers and their sons or daughters, they should be fighting.
Yes.
So that when they are fighting, automatically the people in that particular state, anybody that is a governor will rely majorly
on working for the people.
But they should know where they fight to.
But they should know. There are some places that.
I was going to talk about the playbook you keep talking about.
My place, they say that.
Yes.
No matter how well a cat sleeps, he knows the bed of a lion. No.
Now I'm going to.
So make they know.
I will probe that. I'm going to probe that proverb further, because you have said that. Look, maybe Wike was looking at the playbook of Mr. President,
yes,
who has been able to do what others have not been able to do.
Yes,
I don't think there has been any
nobody
who has been able to,
in
especially the 1999 set.
You know, in the history of Nigeria, from 1960 till date,
so,
nobody has held a particular state
for over 25 years.
Not even Chief Obafemi Awolowo.
So if we have a president now who did that in a state that people consider very volatile politically, for 25 years,
cosmopolitan,
diverse,
filled with educated
people. So for one leader, Mr. Curtis, to have been able to hold the political structure of the state down till today as we speak, don't you think it probably was the motivation for someone like Wike to say, oh, if Tinubu can do it in Lagos, I can do it in Rivers. So what's the difference? Why is he finding it so difficult?
The difference is that Wike copied
and pasted badly.
And pasted wrongly. Because you see, even when Tinubu as the leader was not somebody
was not so brash.
He was not brash. He didn't have a bad tongue. Tinubu didn't come out openly to attack people, except he was pushed to the wall. Now look at the case of Bode, for instance. Even though he was angry, when he had the time to speak to the press, you know what he said? I am a leader.
I have to listen to the people.
They were the people who said we should make Bode governor. If the same people have come back,
say we don't want him again.
We don't want him
so
again.
Who do I listen to?
Who do I listen to? I'm a leader of the people.
So it's not about I. Yes. I say it's not going to go again.
And then he has set up a structure, a structure that is made up of believers. And when I say believers, I mean, if you have believers will run through a wall
for you.
Not just supporters, but who are just out to get what they get, what you can give them.
But you think the structure exists or functions beyond his own personal interest?
Yeah, Tinubu.
Yes.
No, the structure is oil to always protect his interests.
Okay.
And that's why I call them believers. They believe in him so much.
So they will always work for his interest.
Yes, in the case of Wike, look at how did Wike recruit his supporters. Now, when he wanted to gain advantage over Amaechi, he went to the National Assembly. All this Magnus Habe and all of them, he got all of them together and bought them Lexus. State is giving them Lexus. Any leader that supports him, look at the commissioner, look at Amaechi's spokesperson, Chris Finebone. If you remember, all of a sudden, Chris Finebone left Amaechi and went to go. A week after he had praised Amaechi in an article, he joined Wike. He was made commissioner. Now they dropped him. Where is Chris Finebone now? He's back to Amaechi. So when all you offer people,
he wasn't really able to get believers.
No, they were just supporters who were looking for one thing or the other from him, and he mistook them to be believers. That's why as soon as he left the state,
because there was no belief anyway.
The whole thing he was talking about my
structure. I built the structure.
Even collapsed before you arrived at Abuja.
As he left Rivers.
And another thing that is making Tinubu's structure also different is this. One of the things that Tinubu doesn't joke with is the traditional rulers. traditional rulers. The same traditional rulers was the one that Wike has insulted.
Say, look at your cap like Usman Danfodio.
Then another thing again. then another one.
Why are you shaking this small boy? This small boy. And those are the guys that will go back to the community.
Another one again is that tell me one state that have governors advisory council.
GAC.
The GAC.
And what is using them? Who are the GACs? They are politicians.
The same believers.
It's a believers.
They're believers.
So what they just do was that he will have what he wants to do, throw it to them. Let us look at it.
So the believer takes the message out there.
And that is the reason.
The message is from him.
Yes.
That's what you're saying.
Another thing again is that is making him to work is this. Look, if you go and see the way the structure roll from the state downward, you cannot compare Wike even with Rabiu Kwankwaso. Talk less of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I see stand.
In terms of being a political leader of the state.
That's why you remember that before, when we are looking at who is going to be governor in each state, you know, I said, don't mention Kano State. That I can beat my chest. Even Rabiu Kwankwaso should start another party today.
You will still take Kano.
In the next election, he will still win.
Because the Kwankwasia
movement, there are some people
strong.
in APC, they are Kwankwasia. Some people in another party, they are Kwankwasia. It's a movement that you can't compare Wike. Another one again is this. Look.
So there was no Wike movement. It was a structure.
No, it's just his own. Even that structure is not a structure.
There was a Wike hysteria.
So
everybody just around him. He had the money.
Your food, have the money,
and so when they saw that it's in level.
When there's no money.
No, look. You see, there is a way you can hold people down. And they are following you not because they believe in you, because they are scared of you. And once that instrument
that you have
that scares them is no longer with you,
and it's in the hand of another person, they just find their level.
They just drift away from you.
Don't you see the way all these? There is one occasion they had 2 weeks ago in the River State. Don't you see the traditional rulers? See the way they are smiling. I look at it, the same traditional rulers that somebody insulted.
Do you think that anybody would have summoned the confidence or the boldness to go to that building in Obiakpo and remove something from
just
there?
Like that.
If not that there's a structure on ground that has changed.
The villagers were there and they believed what the guys were doing.
Okay. Well, so much to talk about really when it comes to River State, and I think we've been able to merge all of the major talking points, Odili, the new interest, Wike's kind of politics, why everything seems to be collapsing in his very eyes. I think the major consolation will be the fact that, look, he's able to get at least the confidence of the president, who has said he's a good person in his media chat. And I think he also does whatever he likes in Abuja. I think he's gotten that free hand to do whatever he wants to do in Abuja.
Again, it's a double-edged sword.
That's privilege.
What he's doing in Abuja. Remember Rufai? How he demolished houses belonging to Ahmadu Ali, the PDP chairman, and some others. And of course, the government had to pay compensation to some of them. I think that Wike, I've not been to Abuja since he became minister, but people are saying he's done a great job in Abuja. And I'm happy that is happening. Because when you compare him to the other minister who slept for 8 years, nothing happened. So it's a good development. And I think Mr. President definitely is proud of him, not only for the utility he provided in the course of election, the fact that he's transforming Abuja, the seat of power. Look, in politics, like I always say to people, I don't hate anyone. Whoever can help the Nigerian people
deliver the dividends of democracy
is my hero. You don't even have to come from the party that I belong to. And that's the reality.
All right, deliver on the job. It's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. My name is Saheed Fuhad. We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio. We have Nuruddin Adegbeni in the studio. And today we're doing a review of the major political events that shaped the year 2024 in Nigeria. Barrister Curtis, let's really talk about the presidential media chat. There are people who have said that, look, this will happen. Let the president talk to Nigerians. We need to probe his mind more. And just about a week ago, just some few days ago, sorry, we had some of our finest journalists sit, with the president to ask him critical questions around nation building. We all watched just a few minutes, less than an hour, a session with some top journalists in Nigeria who were there to probe the mind of the president on some of his policies. Chief Bode George is saying this by Sakotisa Adigba, that look, the presidential media chat lacks empathy humanity, and that the president did not show any sense of empathy and humanity to the plight of Nigerians who are further driven into poverty by his policies. I did a quick summary by Secretaries of that entire session, just a quick bullet points. And these are my summary of the thoughts of the president about his policies. Number one, he has no regrets removing subsidy. Number two, he says borrowing is not a crime. Number three, tax reforms have come to stay, but open to negotiations on VAT. And that, look, the outcry would not stop the tax reforms from scaling through. He also expressed confidence in his security architecture. He wasn't ready to probe the military. He said, look, we need to even commend them. We're not going to probe them. So for his security and service chiefs, the president is saying, kudos, guys, you're doing a good job. And he's also insisting on reforms, not designed to inflict pains on Nigeria, but necessary for growth. So what he's saying that, look, the reforms, again, a summary from the presidential media chat is that, look, the reforms is necessary for growth. It's not to inflict pain. It's just necessary for growth. And of course, he gave some analogy where he had said that, look, if you can't pay for electricity, Nigerians will learn to manage. Go and switch off your light.
The way they switch it off in Aso Rock. Aso Rock is almost
I've not
darkness every time. Okay, I'll take you there.
I'm coming, but no, I'm just saying that, look, to buttress the idea of reforms, not designed to inflict pains on Nigerians, but necessary for growth. I had to pick that out. And of course, he also said that, look, I also have friends. I had a friend who had 5 Rolls Royce, and I saw him recently. He has changed to Honda.
That's a drop. That's a massive drop.
From 5 Rolls Royce
to Lexus or Land Cruiser.
So again, another bullet point for me was that, look, he says he has met all obligations without recourse to the NNPCL funds. That, look, he's been running the government now for some months without really going back to collect anything from the NNPCL. Again, president saying that, look, I'm doing a good job. He even said that, look, you can't score me.
The dollar is down. The naira is down.
you can't score me. I'll score myself. I've done a good job. And one of the things he also said, he said that, look, you've elected me to do the job.
Allow me
to do the job. And then finally for me, one of the major takeaways is that, look, the stampede, because the question about poverty, hunger in the land was also thrown at the president. I said that, look, the stampede was as a result of bad planning from the
publicity
seeking, that, look, it was just an error of judgment from the organizers of the event. And he also gave the example of the fact that, look, at his Bodilon residence, he does it yearly.
And he's done it again.
There was no stampede. And there was no issue. So you can't say this is about poverty in the land, but about poor planning, poor judgment from the organizers of the event.
When you have abundance, people don't struggle.
So, by Secretaries, let's look at the presidential media chart. What are your major takeaways? And some of the things I've highlighted, what do you think?
So, first and foremost, I've always said the president of any country wears 2 caps. Is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and is also the empathizer-in-chief. In other words, when the nation is hurting,
it's bleeding,
and they need a healing hand, the words of the president should be able to give them comfort. His words should be able to bind their wounds and heal it. Now, it's like a father giving an injection to a child because he has malaria. Now, the father knows that what he's doing is the right thing, but it's not out of place to buy biscuit and Fanta and be telling the young man, don't worry, it's not painful, I'm holding you, we are together. And then you give him, the young man, some level of comfort and courage to take the injection. All right? Now, I think the presidential media chat was an opportunity for Mr. President to put a sympathetic face to his policies, to his very extremely harsh policies. The policies that has thrown more people into poverty, the policies that have made basic living, extremely hard for most Nigerians. And so I would have expected the president to have been more empathetic, to speak in tones that, I understand what you are going through. I'm not doing this because I hate you. I'm simply doing this because after scanning the horizon, the economic horizon, we cannot continue on the same path and expect
a different result
outcome. That's insanity. Now, we have chosen this path. On our own part, there are things that we are entitled to that we cannot enjoy because we feel this has to be a general sacrifice.
It should be a one-sided thing.
So, and look, and let me tell you, believe me, okay, I know what you need, and I am doing everything possible to get it done for you. Without these reforms, we are not going to move anywhere. You know, I mean, if you have spoken to people
like in that manner,
but I think that's his own way of conveying, you know, because he was very upbeat, very buoyant in spirit. He said, "Well, there are no two ways. There's nothing anybody.
That's the only way. Yeah,
that's the only way, and I'm going to do it. You have elected me, allow me to govern, and all that." And then I think he also expressed the sufferings of the people in terms of wastage or being irresponsible. You know. Oh, high cost of electricity. Oh, turn off your light. You know, that was what his ministers too said. You know, nobody puts on a light if it doesn't need a light. I do know that, of course, I mean, some people do leave their light on. But this bulb light is not what consumes power.
That much.
No.
But there are people, they even taking their transformer away. There's nothing to switch off.
So
I don't know what those ones to switch off, really.
So, but I think he feels that the Nigerians, and I think this has been the mentality of the president, that, like he has said so many times, that we're living a fake life.
So this is the time to whip us back to life.
The country was living a fake life that we couldn't afford. But then, when you look at it, the truth of the matter is that even the people who were living large before this government came are still living large.
Even larger than before.
The business groups. The man who organized the all-white party, has he stopped organizing it?
In fact, the party became larger.
Okay.
But on the other side
the one who is organizing the experience, has he stopped?
It became larger.
It became larger. Do you know any bank MD, or do you know
who has suddenly been affected by what we have now, that have now toned it down? They are becoming bigger.
In fact, there are his own people. There are the policymakers. There are those he invites for tea in the villa to talk about how to move the economy.
So why we are being told to drop it and tone it down? They get bigger on the other side.
They get bigger on the other side. You understand? So, and that's why the president appears to be entangled in mismessaging. Now, if you heard one of the guys asking me a question, Mr. President, how come you are asking us to make sacrifice, but your government is on a spending binge? You know, and you know, he didn't answer that question.
He didn't really.
Rather, he pivoted to another issue about the need to continue on the path of reforms,
which has come to stay.
And that was when he talked about having to do everything and not needing a dime from NNPC.
So
again, that we can explain. First of all, your currency is devalued. You have increased taxes for the people. You have increased custom duties. You are bound to take in more money.
So the flowers he's getting, he was giving to himself, is coming at the sweat and blood of the people.
Of the poor people. Now, then he talked about the fact that so many Nigerians were living larger than their resources. Well, he may be right, but the reality is that how did the man, the example he gave, why did the man buy 5 Rolls Royces in the first place?
And how can that be?
And how come?
That's the example to.
How come you cannot sell one of the Rolls Royces and buy a Lexus Jeep and all that? Why was Honda the choice from that level? So I think that Mr. President is convinced about what he's doing. Like now, you know, all over the social media, you hear that, oh, the reforms are beginning to yield great results. NNPC has reduced pump price. Other filling stations have, and we pray that this is sustained because it's actually going to help the people. People are dying. You understand what I'm saying? So, why I think that it was a good idea for Mr. President to speak to Nigerians, I wasn't really impressed with the outcome. I thought that he had his head in the moon and that he needed a reality check. To know exactly what is going on in the country.
You think it's far from the reality of ordinary Nigeria?
I think it's far from the reality.
No, you listen to the president. A lot of key issues were addressed, even though we've questioned whether that was the entire session, what we saw, whether it was just a packaged material that may not have captured the entire conversation with our colleagues who we thought would have done a better job. Again, we have to excuse them because we are not sure that that was the entire session. You know, we've questioned some of the follow-up questions. We even questioned the fact that they allowed the president to enjoy himself. He had a free ride. You know, some of the tough questions that should have come did not come. And when they come, they didn't, you know, get that necessary follow-up question that would have at least shaken the president a bit. But all in all, what do you think about that presidential media chat?
Well, for me, that media chat shows that the president is not intended
with the reality of Nigerians.
I'm telling you, like the issue of hardship, he doesn't feel it, and he doesn't even make people believe that he's succor for them. You know, when you believe something, that's why you can now preparing how you can give solutions
to the problem.
So the way the dollars is rising against the naira, the hardship that people cannot eat, people have to beg, a lot of different types of beggars. He doesn't even care because he doesn't even believe it exists. And when you have a leader that is not intended with what is happening, I'm telling you, whatever you are saying about that hardship is not going to be sinking in to whoever that produces. I know it's from the NTA. Whoever that produces that particular interview, the lot of cut and join in that particular interview, the lot of follow-up questions that was cut away. Majority of all those questions are not coherent, and there are some journalists there that we know them on their various programs.
How tough talking they are, the tough questions they ask,
and the caliber of questions they have. It's like
the kind of questions they ask.
It's like an R&D interview. If I have my students that I sent out to go and do personality interview for me,
and they do like that,
and it doesn't ask, because there is a stage we call asking the bomb, and it cannot asking the bomb that will make the interviewee to really pop out a bit. I saw the Mr. President enjoying himself, and if you look at it very well, the tone is so arrogant in nature for me. It doesn't go with what is like when he talks about Stampede. I expect that something that will bring succor to the mind of those who have lost their loved ones, and also what the government is going to do moving forward. I expect him to talk about foodstuffs, food storage, and what the government is going to do in partnership with the states. I did not see it. But so for me, I don't take any much thing. In fact, the first media chat of President Muhammadu Buhari is far better than this particular one. So, and next time, they should try much as possible. If they want to select those people, they should not select this set of people they've selected.
I don't have
no,
think
because
one
like, no, because I saw one, at least one particular person goes like 2-3 questions. Yes, I know one that goes 2-3 questions. I could not see. I saw, you know how we normally do PR questions now. There are some questions that are PR questions. It's not for public relations. They are not directing enough to the issue they want to discuss. Then another thing again is that how come the journalists are majorly broadcast?
I think there are two prints.
Yes, why are the prints? They're supposed to, because they are the majority of all other things. They are presenters. We are looking for a print journalist that knows that he has to do a feature story on it. To have to go deeper in that kind of manner, and we want to see more of media chat, but we don't want to have a PR package media chat.
Okay, PR package media chat, still political roundtable mainland. 98.3 FM. Barrister Curtis Adigba, whether we like it or not, all through the whole of the week, last week, just this past week, the papers were consistent about their reportage of hardship in the land. In fact, there was a lot of talk about the price of food, how people have to go low-key, low-key, yes, how people have to go low-key. The fact that, look, just about a year ago, a live chicken was selling for maybe around 6,000-7,000 naira.
Now 25,000.
And now 25, 30, 35,000.
Must you eat meat?
But it's not a criminal also.
But that's what I tell you now.
On Christmas Day,
Must we eat meat on Christmas Day?
So what should people eat on Christmas Day?
Don't forget that the chief imam of the mosque in Lekki said, Mr. President has not disappointed us.
He's talking about himself and his people. It cannot be for...
No, he's a chief imam of people in Lekki. And when you are chief imam,
and it cannot even be for the whole of Lekki.
Yes.
I am sure it's
yes,
not... You see, Barrister Kotti, if he said he has not disappointed them, the them can be explained.
In those days,
yes,
when you go to a religious house, that's where you expect to hear the truth.
The truth, as it is.
To say to Mr. President, we acknowledge your effort.
Boss.
There's something that Obama said. President Obama, while he was president, had this mechanism whereby he receives direct letters from ordinary Americans. And he collects that letter. The secretary gathers the letter, and every night 25 letters are picked for him. And
directly from the people.
From the people. That's the last thing he does before going to bed.
So he reads and gets feedback directly from the people.
Yes. And that's why if you observe, he was like a people's president, inviting all sorts of people to the White House.
Yeah.
Children, young adults, and all that. And one of the things that he said, even when the data showed that he had improved the economy of America significantly, considering where he took over from, Obama used to say, our work and our job is not done until every American can feel the impact. Every American can feel the impact of the work we are doing. So we are not claiming success. We are not claiming that we have achieved anything until everyone can feel the impact of the work that we are doing. And that has got to be the attitude. Now, when the president is already appraising himself, setting the exams questions, marking them himself.
He said he's going to score himself.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Look, the fact is that there is still huge job for the president to do. And the reason why we always talk about president, because the policies that are contributing to the situation are federal policies. They are taking hold in different...
And there's a way it dovetails into
do you understand?
Making it even difficult for the subnationals to do anything.
Yes, so why he wants to mimic a lizard when he falls from a height? He says, if nobody says you have done a great job,
I'll praise myself, yes.
The president has to contend with the reality. Now, he tried to explain, why we had the stampede in different places. Yeah, he may be right. Poor organization was part of it. Yeah. But what the president did not address is the desperation
of the people,
the land,
more than ever before.
Because, like he acknowledged himself, these events had been going on for so many years. Why didn't we have the stampede? And perhaps there was also disorganization in the past.
Yes.
Why did nobody die? It is the intensification of the desperation
at this time
that led to it. I saw what happened in Bode. It was over a mile.
The queue.
The queue was over a mile. But you know why? It wasn't the presence of security men alone that kept them quiet. It was the belief that where we have come, there is enough.
Those other ones were not sure
it
was going to go around.
Even if this queue
you don't get there early,
was 3 miles.
That at least where we have come,
it will come.
This is the house of the president.
It will reach us.
That even if it finishes,
more will come.
But on that other side,
they were not sure.
No,
that
they
will be
even
enough.
told them that it's 5,000. After that 5,000,
so you see, that was the whole thing.
So maybe that was the poor planning the president was talking about. That you should have made sure that give them the impression that it's enough.
Okay, so what would the people have done? Because they have told you their capacity. This is what we can do.
And then people came in their numbers.
Do you understand? In the case of the president, he didn't announce any capacity.
And they know, like you said, that this one,
even if the queue reached from there to...
Like the Yoruba said, he cannot finish.
So,
so the desperation was, we are not sure.
No, we are not sure because they looked around and they say,
these numbers?
Apart from that, they looked and the thing is going down. Then they look back, this thing going
and the queue still give, jump the queue.
So that's what happened.
Okay, well, I think we've been able to really touch on. Okay, I was going to talk about the issue of agriculture. Okay. Because again, we have Prince Wise, for example, who would always talk about mechanized farming. he feels that, look, we should, tone it down a bit, talking about the problem, rather focus on the solution. And to him, the solution is we can feed ourselves, mechanized farming. And the president also went that route.
How many tractors did they order?
I'm going there. I'm going there. And I remember that about a year ago, the president has also talked about farming some hectares of land, I think about 50,000 hectares of land. That was a broadcast that happened about 12 months ago.
I think he was talking in Kano, and one time, even before the election, he was talking about the need to return people to farm so that we can feed ourselves.
And I remember that there was a particular speech of the president where I said that, look, there were already plans, not in recent, almost about 12 months ago, where I said that, look, we have already made plans on how to farm so hectares of land. But the president had just told us that, look, it's almost like work in progress. The government is expecting 2,000 tractors. And then, of course, they will also be ensuring that, look, more people are mobilized.
The Ministry of
Livestock to do the right thing and all of that. Does that in any way give you some form of hope that what we see in terms of food inflation this year, we will not see in 2025?
Well, here is look. I will be stupid to say that this president is not doing anything at all.
Okay.
And I will also not be truthful if I say that he's not making the efforts. But the question is, are the efforts enough? Are the efforts yielding results?
Where's the results?
The people can touch easily. Look, as we speak now, I think it was just 3 days ago that 15 people were killed in Plateau State. Majority of them farmers. No, Plateau before Benue.
Before Benue, yes.
Now, you're talking about mechanized farming. The mechanics or the machineries themselves cannot take themselves to farm. You see people who will take them to farm.
And if they are being killed before they get to the farm.
If the people cannot get to their farms to work, I think somewhere in Delta too, I saw how a mother and a baby were murdered together. Yes, from their farms. So, but the president feels that the security situation is under control.
He said people can now travel on our roads.
On our roads, but people have been kidnapped daily. I don't know, during this Christmas period, there were reports of kidnapping all over.
I think we also have some issues in the east, in the southeast, killings here.
So, I think that the president should take a closer look at the situation and not depend on reporting from his aides, whom I feel that telling the president about the reality on the streets might
cost them their jobs.
Or probably not
endear them to the president as doing the job well.
Let me give you a small example of what happened. When Obasanjo was president, they went to London for an African summit of African heads of state. And at some point, Obasanjo was dominating the conversation. So other African presidents were not happy with the situation. Their aides were complaining. And so Bukola Saraki then was an aide to Obasanjo before he became a governor. So Bukola Saraki got some of the top aides of the president. And they agreed that when they go back to the hotel, they were going to tell Mr. President about what they witnessed today and the need for him to allow other people to speak and all that. And so he said when they got to the hotel, aide after aide got up and said, "Oh, Mr. President,
you did marvelous.
You are the locomotive of West African train. Oh, without you, there will be no Africa."
You are the
right
powerhouse, the power engine.
And all that. So he said, after watching them, when Mr. President went to his room, said, "But this was not what we agreed."
We were supposed to tell him the truth.
He said, "But don't you see that the man was in no mood for such nonsense? You, if they sack you, you have a place to go back. We have nowhere to go back to.
So we have to tell him what he wants to hear."
So sometimes the aides find it difficult to tell the leader what he needs to hear. Or like the case of a governor, the story that my former governor told us, how he was working on the grounds of Government House one day. And he looked at it and said, "Chief of Staff, this tree here, I think is a security risk." Because
this tree is here.
Yes, and people can
they can scale it, use it to scale the fence and come in.
The Chief of Staff said, "Your Excellency, we are thinking the same thing. This is the same
thing. We have been thinking of removing the tree
this morning." And then the governor walked around and said, "But on the second note, Chief, we are telling people to plant trees. We can't be putting down our own
because of security."
Your Excellency, again, I thought about it.
That's why we have not even done it. issues. Well, Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. But Nuruddin, there are one of our callers who will always say that, look, I think there are experts who have also even given the number of tractors we need, really, to make any significant improvement when it comes to agriculture. I think about 50-something thousand tractors is what we needed. If the president is saying that, look, we are just expecting 2,000, the 2,000 tractors have not come. It is still work in progress. We're still expecting them. Do you see? Because remember that the same government that announced, tariff waivers for people who are able to bring in grains. Yeah. The customs came up with their own condition, and up till today,
nothing has happened.
Nuruddin, nothing has happened in that regard. There are people who already saying that 2025 is going to be tough for people. Do you see the president as giving that idea that the government has a handle over the issue of food insecurity, food inflation, and the hunger in the land?
Look, Fuad, don't forget that the appropriation bill for 2025
5 years
will start July 1st. Did you put that one into consideration? So from July to December, can this budget on agriculture really materialize? That one is one. Then two, look, I interviewed some livestock farmers. Why are we having chicken so expensive? And they did the analysis for me. The price of feed, even the one that is producing, especially the one, I don't want to do advert for them, going to Ibadan, that have one tall, whatever, is within this year alone, they've increased it 10 times.
The price.
Then two, let us now go and get maize that is local to us. Where are they?
Who is producing it?
Where is the storage for it? So they said they buy in times 4 times 5, and that is what is materializing. That even last year they are the one that was selling it at that price.
But now it's not possible.
Then another thing again is the issue of agriculture. Tractor alone will not solve our problem. And the state government and local government, they need to really work with the federal government, because with what is budgeted for agriculture is not enough. If we really need food, then all those states that are feeding us, we know those states that are feeding us in Nigeria,
majorly for agriculture,
you will discover that we still have problems with the farmers going to farm. If they can't go to farm, don't forget that when they cannot go to farm for 3 months, the effect will not come immediately 3 months. In another 6 months,
we'll start to feel the effect of
and that's exactly what we're doing. Another thing again is that look at alubosa, onions. Just one for 500 naira, 400 naira, little one. It looks like a bitter cola like this. So now, this government, for us to have a very good 2025.
When it comes to food. The issue of security needs to be tackled, especially in food producing area, especially from those people that are majorly farmers. Then the second one is this: livestock should not be by name alone. They are crying. Do you know the number of people that cannot even feed their fishes? Do you know how much they sell catfish now, although it's meant for wealthy people? But the normal fish, there is a fish they call ejegu. That round one.
That people hardly buy. They use it only for vegetables. Now is the deal of the day as we speak. So for us to do that, this government needs to do more, and the state governments in those states, they need to partner with the local government. Have you ever seen 2 local government that they did not even have 1 tractor? One.
But no, we used to have this rice. We had the lake rice in Lagos. There's one with Ogun State too.
Yes.
There's this name.
They have a name they call it.
But all of those rice experiments have gone down.
Look,
nobody's talking about anything again.
State, let me tell you, the one in Lagos State, let me start from Lagos State. They share rice to the civil servant. You know, a lot of civil servants that you don't even see it.
But you remember the rice in Ogun State and that of Lagos.
Yeah, they don't have. Look, did you think any businesses that is not cheap, affordable, you think government will venture into it? And that is the
correct reality. But we're seeing the lake rice and that of Ogun State. We saw them.
Because one thing, now Lagos has a mill in Imota.
But is the rice still coming out of
No, The little one that they say we get, we don't know, maybe it's even rebag. At least they gave some certain sacrifice, truly, but it doesn't go around though.
I'm talking about the lake rice.
And that's what I'm saying now.
Lagos Kebbi experiment for rice farming.
Now they have their mill. There is not issue of
lake
rice again. But one thing there is this: the one of Ogun don't even go there, because if you don't invest in something, there is no way you can. Don't forget that Ekiti also invested also in rice at that particular time. So with this 2025, if the needed effort is not put into this particular thing, food crisis that we are going to get in 2025 with the projections of the farmers are not having ability to go to farm, I think it's going to be high.
All right, Mr. Curtis Adigba, anything about food that you think, let's look for solutions. What would be your advice? Luckily, we are from Benue State, the food basket of the nation. Yeah.
Look, you know, food has got an incubation period. Even when you go to the farm, the period it will take to grow before you harvest and then you distribute.
And then storage too.
Yes, I think the government needs to be more innovative, and the government needs to be flexible. All over the world, people import food where there is shortage.
Yeah.
I think the government should relax some of the very strict rules about importation.
Yeah.
So that, you know, look, this whole idea that you want to be self-sufficient as a nation, I think that if there's anything we should be self-sufficient about, it should be about petrol. That we are, I think, number 6 in the world, but we are importing. So why can't we import food if that will help to bring down the price? And I think government should create some incentives around the importation of this food by reducing the taxes that are paid,
or tariffs,
the
duties,
and all that. So that's the way to go until we're able to stabilize our security situation and farmers can get back to the farm, and government efforts in terms of agriculture, livestock and all that is beginning to show more results. That's the way to go.
All right, that's the way to go. We hope that the government will come up with policies that would help really with the issue of food. It's been a very tough year for people. We live in the streets. We live among the poorest of the poor, and we know what the town is saying. Like they always say, 괰ᴏʟᴏᴡ. The people that would not ordinarily beg you in the past have started to beg.
I think one of the issues you wanted to talk about was the 2 emirs in Kano.
Yeah, the 2 emirs in Kano, yes.
And then this issue you just talked about reminded me about what led to Sanusi being removed, one of the issues.
Yes.
You know, Sanusi talked about the poverty in Kano in spite of the fact that the government is blessed with so many resources. He was angry that they were building more mosques than they were building schools. He gave an example of how he does his charity, that people, women and children come together in the palace a particular number of days in the week, where he has to attend to them. And he talked about one particular day, you know, as the queue was moving, he heard this very loud cry at the back of the queue. And he said to the palace guards to go and find out what happened. And then they came back to him and said, sir, the woman's son died while she was on the queue. And he called the woman. And what was the issue? The woman was only looking for 2,000 naira to take that child to the hospital. And he started crying. He felt like this boy could be president, could be governor, could be anything tomorrow.
Now he's dead.
And then he died as a result of a misery sum of 2,000 that they couldn't get him to the hospital. So he started this campaign whereby he was angry with the government. He wanted the government to spend more money building hospitals,
the tools,
taking care of people.
And he was very vocal about it.
I
think at that point he was telling the governor of the state to stop building those bridges.
Yes.
Focus that you are just building bridges.
And you know there was a time he sent his daughter to stand in for him to deliver his
which
speech.
Was a message in itself.
Which was a message itself, because he also started a campaign about the girl's child and the valuable and invaluable.
And what is there to empower girl, the girl child in the north?
They didn't like that. And at some point, when some northern governors led by 꽞ᴏᴜ wanted to appeal to Ganduje about the conflict between him and
the Emir, Sanusi.
I remember when he boasted that this guy you are talking about doesn't even report to me directly. He reports to a commissioner that I appointed. Who the hell is he? And so, but he waited and bided his time until he was re-elected. And I think that the reason why he did what he did was that in the course of that election, Emir Sanusi did not support Ganduje.
Yes.
It was obvious to anybody
Yes.
in Kano. And when INEC gave him a lifeline by saying that the results were inconclusive, of course, as the incumbent governor, he put all the stops,
all the strength and all the resources.
He came back with a vengeful spirit that he was going to get rid of Sanusi. And so he broke down the Emirates into smaller Emirates.
Yes.
Now, of course, this is not the first time it was happening.
Yes, Remy
the former governor of Remy also did it, and
Bakezu reversed it.
Everything that he did. And so now that Abba Yusuf is there, and Abba Yusuf was the same candidate that Sanusi had supported against Ganduje.
Yes.
He has brought back Sanusi. Now, the only reason why you're still talking about 2 emirs in Kano is because Ganduje has some federal might behind him
to keep the other emir, the other palace,
to protect the other emir. But it's just a waiting game.
Even with the judgment that has even come, what the House of Assembly has done, they follow all the law through to change that particular law, and no court.
So it's just a matter of time.
It's just a matter of time.
Bayero is not going to be emir. It's no longer emir. As far as Kano State is concerned, it is the government that appoints the emir. The kingmakers will submit list of...
But by Curtis, if tomorrow, because again, anything can happen when it comes to politics, Ganduje and his people, the APC win Kano.
Yes.
Then, so are we going to be having this continuous?
So
okay,
this
government comes, he removes this emir. Another one comes, he restates, remove this one.
This is the danger of politicizing an eminent traditional throne. Like the throne of the emir of Kano. Don't forget that the Zazu kingdom is also there.
Yes.
There were disagreements. In fact, the people, the one that the kingmaker chose was not the one Rufai appointed as emir. But what they have done is they've been able to stabilize the situation. And I think that the Kano people should work themselves to that point whereby whoever is the governor.
So political interference and all
with that,
reverts to.
So age long.
And you don't know the reason why the new Alaafin has not been installed.
Well, we've been hearing a lot of...
So it's just because politicians want to dominate everything. Religion, they want to choose chief imam of the state. They want to use the president of Khan in a state. They want to the Oluwo of that particular state. That is the problem.
By Curtis, with our own, I think with traditional over here, my mind was that the Ifa will just do the thing.
Which Ifa?
And Ifa should not take this long.
Ifa has not spoken for a very long time.
Ifa has become human beings now. Ifa not speak through human beings.
Ifa are supposed to be deity. That you consult and they just speak through.
They have corrupted Ifa now.
Ifa has food. For instance, if you are talking about Ogun, popcorn. If you go and open a company of popcorn for Ogun will eat and they eat palm oil.
Because again, how many months now that the late Alaafin
it's going to be years now.
Yes.
There's a popular comedy by Osofia.
Yes.
The man who acted the Osofia in London.
Yes.
And there was a contest between him and one guy to be traditional ruler of the place. He had oppressed the people so much, thinking that he was the only one the gods had chosen. But then he was supposed to pull just the sword off the ground, which he couldn't do it. I think he went to speak to deity and they say he should bring money in dollars. He said, does this god na dollar they collect? So, all right. Well, all this what do they call it? If I don't speak again,
because again, some of this is that's on the light side.
If I don't speak again,
say Political Roundtable Mainland 98.3 FM. The line is officially open for you to be a part of the show. 091-36000410 091-36000410. Hello, good evening.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, this is Babatunde from the Kotu.
Yes, please go on, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. My own concern this evening is the issue of that presidential chat.
Oh, yes, the presidential media chat.
Yes. Oh, yes, media chat. Right. I begin to see again the game plan towards 2027. If we set, right, you discover that it's another propaganda game. The reason why I'm telling you is that, but after the whole scenario, you check the response of one of the journalists that are present there. Maybe I should mention him.
Mention, why not?
Yes, that is Mr. Ruben Abati.
Yes.
You know, it was praising the president, right? It was he was pressing him, telling him that the man is so confident. He attends to questions. He did not allow them to submit their questions.
That they didn't see the questions. Everything was done transparently.
So, now all these things is to work in this for parents to buy who they can be able to buy to themselves, especially journalists.
All right.
So that that's the way I'm looking at it. It's a game to watch 2027.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Abatule from Ikotu. 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
What? Good evening to you.
Yes, good evening.
I'm Kawde from Abeokuta.
Okay, Mr. Kawde from Abeokuta, yes.
I greet Barrister Curtis and Nuruddin rather.
We greet you too.
I can't know Barrister Curtis that feedback has no business in marking a script himself concerning this first maiden edition of his
media chat.
Presidential. Yes. You see, even although a leader must know where he's going, but has it inspired me to go with him? I would say no. Because nothing is globally that you must not do. If you are condemning the people from Nigeria that went to be in a republic to take or obtain their certificate and say that if not agreeing with you, then you must probably disengage them from service. Then talk about what you are doing now. You are expecting students, and then you are still that
Mr. Kawde was struggling to hear you. You want to change your position?
Don't your popcorn.
Oh,
hello?
Yes, I think it's better now. Yes. Can you wrap up your thoughts? Yeah.
I hope you had me till where I stopped. I mean, you stopped me now.
We lost you for like a few seconds. Can you repeat what you said for like in the last 10 seconds?
Let me quickly do it. I was trying to paint a picture that a student cannot mark his own script. Because you have told us that people who went to Republic of Benin would not have obtained a very unwelcome certificate. And you are now marking your own script. You say, I am supposed to be the one marking it. That's what I'm saying now. Because you can't promote yourself as a leader. It is me that will promote you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Kawde from Abeokuta. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Fry.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, I greet your two guests also. May God bless all of you. Happy New Year in advance.
Thank you so much. Your name, sir, where are you calling from?
Thank you very much. My name is Madam Dᴏ宜. I am calling from Odili.
Yes, Madam Bello, please go on, sir.
Okay, thank you. I want to speak about two issues that you have discussed. One, about the shortage of food and the possibility of government to open the border for the importation
of food.
Yes. I'm not sure that federal government of Nigeria is aware that the border is not closed. There's nothing like border closed. If you want to know that Nigerian border is not closed for food items imported from our neighboring country, the Republic here to Nigeria, go to Badagry, go to Isachi, you will see numbers of vehicles. Most of them are cars. People loaded with rice into Lagos, and do they come from heaven to land in the shop where they dispose all this food? I want to believe that there are some powerful government officials that are benefited from that importation, and they don't want any other people to go and buy even one bag or two bags from that same place because they are beneficial of
the whole thing.
Yes, so that is the way I look at it. And then number two, you talk about the subsidy removal that the president announced that day that he announced the removal of the subsidy is gone. That very day, the whole Nigeria listening to it, and the same thing is happening today.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, I think we lost.
Hey,
hello, good evening.
Mr. Fuad, Professor, Doctor, Ambassador Fuad. Mr. Curtis.
He's with us.
Good evening. Judge.
Yes.
You didn't give all your chicken. No problem. Mr. Adefero.
Ambassador Musba, where are you calling from this evening?
Me. Well, let me be
usual.
true to myself. I'm calling from Shagari Estate right now.
Well, okay.
Yanokwaja.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, please
So
go on.
me, look, that's because you have touched the angles. The problem we have in this country was artificial problem, and that the problem that hard to solve, the artificial one, is very hard to solve. You know, talks about Obama said that there are 10 many notes were sent to him,
And he
many
reads it.
letters. I address this letter, which means those who are surrounding him were sincere. Our president too read letters. What kind of, who wrote the letter give it to Mr. President?
And what kind of letter are they giving him to read? Is that what
What
you're
kind of letter they
saying?
give it to him? They are giving the letter that you and I sent in the in fictitious way. They write very well that you commenting. Why president will not smart the script? When that those who are fit, it pains me a lot that we know hypocrisy runs. Look, they ask Mr. President, Mr. President, your minister, some are not perform. Mr. Who among? Tell me what I know. If I'm there, I will tell him. I won't know what happened. They don't give me back.
They didn't answer.
They didn't say anything. Nobody said anything. Yeah.
So ministers are not performed. They want to expect.
They're looking at
we
the
are not
beautiful
repeating
house.
ourselves. Hypocrisy, fear. If I mention, they'll come after me. Well, let's go like that. That's the problem I face. Politicians know how to organize people.
All right.
What? When are we trying to organize people against politicians? Not in a violent way, to educate ourselves. If you can do that, we are there already.
All right. Thank you, Ambassador.
My chicken,
Don't worry. Hello, good evening. We'll take this call and then we'll try and read
it's
our
right.
messages on Facebook. Yeah. Hello, good evening. Hello. Hello, good evening. Hello. Can you please turn down the volume of your radio set? Yes. Hello, good
The
evening.
radio is off already.
Okay. Your name, sir?
Yeah. Good evening. My name is Demola. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
All right, Mr. Demola, please go on, sir.
Yeah, I just have three things. One, concerning your frequency, because because over here in Ikorodu, where I stay, your network, we can't hear you very well. So I have to stream
online. Where in Ikorodu? Where do you stay in Ikorodu?
Yeah, along the Ijede Road.
Ijede Road. Okay.
Ijede, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We'll check that. We'll check that out really, because places that are places that are far farther than
so
Ijede,
bad.
you know.
So when I say so bad, bad.
Okay. All right. We'll try and check that out. Yeah. All right.
Okay, please do. One, concerning, let me start from the presidential media chat.
Yes.
I want to say thank you for your point, and I want to also say very big thank you to Barrister Curtis. Yeah, you have been so balanced and so articulate and fact-proven from the way he talks. I really like it, because there are differences when you just want to criticize. It's not because you don't like somebody, you just want to criticize. But his own is not like that, so that is just for him. I'll just talk on that. Then, Mr. Fuad, there is something you said yesterday. I tried to call, but I didn't get you. Concerning the presidential media chat.
Yes.
Because
on which of the shows?
On the morning shows, the one you did from 6 to 7.
Okay. All right, please go on.
Yeah, because you said something about those that were present to ask questions.
Yes.
And you also said something about that it was not the real broadcast that was.
No, I said we are not sure that was the entire session. We are not sure. That's what I said. Not that that's not the real thing.
Because I listened to one of the presenters that was there.
Yes.
And he said something different from what you are saying.
No. What he said, I think you are talking about Dr. Abati, who said that look, nobody gave them any advanced questions, or they didn't submit any questions.
Yes. And he never said that the presidential media chat he listened to after the interview was edited or something like that.
No, he doesn't have to say it. We are probing it as journalists too. What we watched was not a live interview.
It was not.
So if anything is not live, as professionals, we know it could have been edited or packaged. So that's why I said that we are not even sure that, because as journalists, because we need to have this conversation, we expected some follow-up questions that even a year one student of mass communication would have asked the president, and we didn't get that.
The reason why I'm just trying to say this is because sometimes when I'm outside Nigeria, I listen to you online.
Okay.
So I'm just trying to make sure that most time when we talk, he knows that most of what things say goes more than the.
Yes,
the
but do you understand what the context in which I was talking?
Yes,
okay.
I understand what you are saying.
Okay.
But I try to continue.
And also.
All right, thank you so much.
On that of Rivers State.
Yes, Rivers State. Yes, quickly.
Yes, on that of Rivers State, there is something I want us to do, because the way the politics in Rivers State is going, if we are not careful, it may take us to another dimension, 2025. So it will be better if
Rivers problem.
He
needs to rein in Wike.
Thank you.
And tell him choose between being a minister and being a governor's godfather.
So that peace can reign.
Yes, so that peace can reign, and then wait for 2027.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Adima. God bless you, and Happy New Year in advance. All right. Let's now deal with some of the messages we have on Facebook. A lot of them actually. Some I will have to just take a part of it so that we can also.
If Alakwe didn't send message.
I know he's been sending message. It's our friend. He's always the first to send his message.
Correct.
And I think what he does is that when he sees the talking point, he just composes his message. He doesn't even wait to listen to the analysis, so it comes very fast for him. So Mr. Abdurrafiu Alabalakwe is saying, good evening, guys, and compliment of the season. Ogbeni Alabalakwe from Sabo Ijewoniba.
Who gave him a Ogbeni title now?
So he's saying, Wike versus Fubara, I'm not seeing the political war ending soon with the new political developments coming up these days. But I pray Rivers State people survive these. And also all the political and traditional rulers and leaders in Rivers State are not also helping matters. Persons like Odili and others are the ones still putting petrol inside the political fire, because I'm not seeing Fubara as someone who has the sagacity to withstand Wike in all these. But the one-sided leaders are behind the door, still fueling it. I pray Rivers won't be put on fire. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdurrafiu Alabalakwe from Sabo Ijewoniba. Wish you Happy New Year in advance. Bright Okoni is saying, good evening, crew. President Tinubu needs to learn from the Argentine president's policy and please beg him to reduce the inflation rate of the current cost of the nation. Ben Stephen, who is also saying, Obasanjo did not act alone. Meiji, where the party primaries was saying something else, Obasanjo was doing something else.
Look, even if the power brokers in the state wanted something else, they should have used that power to ensure that these guys didn't emerge.
So if the delegates had voted for people,
and these were not governors, they were not sitting governors. So how were they able to manipulate
they were just
the process?
aspirants, So, all right. Well, we have Aziz Odukale saying, kudos to your analysis from January to December. You remain one of the best in terms of political analysis. I always try to call, but my call does not go through. Wike should tread softly, or else it will lose political relevance. I don't see any reshuffle in the cabinet. It's same of the same. We'll witness more protests in 2025 because government are not ready to deliver good governance. The president always sees himself as alpha and omega on any decision he makes is final without consultation. He displayed that in this media chat. Someone should tell Mr. President, who called himself a Democrat and progressive, that we are not in a military rule. Complaint of the season. Thank you so much.
And then you also remember
Aziz Odukale, yes.
The end bad governance protest,
yes,
that led to the detention of some underage people, and there has to be that massive outcry before they were released.
That was not really good. Yeah.
President apparently wasn't aware that
those children were in custody.
But those who arrested them probably would tell you that they briefed the president and he felt that the law should take its course. But
that was not really good for the image.
But we live in a democracy, and this same president had engaged the tool of protest to send out clear messages.
Severally,
So,
okay. Well, we have a Todaka this somewhere. We're saying, he who fights and run away lives to fight another day. Don't forget, who last. I think he's referring to the Wike-Fubara crisis. And Kabiru Adigbero is saying, good evening, Mr. Fan and other guests in the studio. Kudos to you for the good job you're doing. God continue to bless you. My prayer is that 2025 will be fruitful for us, inshallah. Thank you so much, Kabiru Adigbero. We also have Father Ebumi Osi Mora, who is just saluting us all the way from Ikeja military cantonment. Thank you so much, Osi Mora, for the loyalty and love. Rivers State matter is. You people spent almost an hour in the program discussing the Rivers matter. And for me, it was the matter that interested me so much. Ordinarily, I would have known Governor Fubara, but Wike made him shine when there was a fallout between them. But Curtis, yes, okay.
No, apart from that, Fubara was the accountant general of the state.
Of the state, yes.
When he was declared wanted, Wike kept him in government
house, yes.
In fact, during campaign, Wike wasn't bringing him out to campaign.
No, because the FCC guys were
because the FCC guys were looking around to pick him. Why did he do that? Because Fubara knows where all the bodies are buried.
But should he have fought somebody who knows where all the bodies are buried?
Well, you know, sometimes you go into a battle and you forget your vulnerability.
Say your yarn is there.
Because you are pursuing something that is bigger.
You forget, say your yarn is there.
Exactly.
attacking.
Just attacking and then they counter you.
They
Yes.
counter you like this.
So in his own thinking, he was involved in everything I did. So he will be careful not
And
to
he's a
speak.
cool, calm
and,
guy.
and if you see, even though he threatened one time to let the cat out of the bag, but he has not spoken about the things that they did.
All right. Well, very interesting, really. The Rivers matter. There's no way you bring it up on the political discourse without really spending so much time on it because of the intrigues that it brings. We have Lukman Ola. He's Bala Blue just want to use him against 2027 and nothing more. Wike have lost Rivers for good. He should just accept that and move on all the way from Dakar, Senegal. Okay. We have Aworinde Maria, who is saying the presidential chart is 0. The president spoke arrogantly, no empathy. He can't score himself high. It's Nigerians that can score him. He knows that if the Nigerians score him, it will be 0. He did not feel the pain of Nigerians. Borrowing is good for production, not consumption like this government. And then we have the world. We've seen our elders always say when an agama lizard falls from an iroko tree, it will still nod its head in accomplishment. My take is that if we can't, if we can admit our wrong themselves, we reach class in the country, and that's from the world. And then we have Osas Fidelis John, we're saying, okay, just greeting us all the way from Edo State. We have, okay, Claudia Olodode already spoke on, I think I read Alaba. Michael Orias is saying, good evening, everyone. Please, Mr. Fada and the guest, is there any country in the world where people gather around the president's house for palliatives and the leader is comfortable with it? From Nigeria, plus you have people where presidents who gather around the house to collect handouts.
In Uganda?
In Uganda. That should not be the standard for us here.
Majorly African countries.
We see all of that happening. Really. Okay. We have Christopher F. Young saying, hi, Mainland FM Political Roundtable. You guys are doing a wonderful job. Well done in the studio. God bless you. Our presidential chat of Mr. President, to my best understanding, it shows that President is still far away from the reality of Nigeria. And sorry, I would probably have to just jump some part of the messages. We have Marshall Simpson Jide Oyebode saying, as a billionaire private citizen, hundreds of poor people queued up in your house at Odili on every festive season to receive giveaway crumbs from you. They voted you into office as president on the promise you will improve their living conditions. Nearly 2 years after assuming office, not hundreds again, but thousands of desperate, hungry, poor this time are still queuing up in almost 2 kilometers long line in your residence to receive mega giveaways. What does that tell the world? What it means is that you are complete. Okay, all right.
Fuad, you know what?
Yes.
Look, charity is done all over the world.
All over the world, yes.
Look at what Bill Gates, Warren Buffett and co are doing. But what they have done is to institutionalize this charity.
Yeah.
Whereby if it's scholarship you are getting, there's an agency that is in charge that gives you the scholarship. Just apply, meet the conditions, and you get. This whole idea of people queuing up for food, you know, like handout all the time, it speaks clearly to our underdevelopment. It speaks clearly to
so when it becomes a consistent pattern, it's just it keeps happening.
Yes, I mean, in the United States you have the social security. Those who are sick, who cannot walk, those who are obese, one way or the other,
get the money and support.
You know, food banks. There are food banks, mobile food banks that go around.
But not for it to become the norm, and then it just becomes the regular practice.
It's not something.
Okay, we have Ʞᴏʟᴏᴡ in there. We're saying, good evening, sir. I really enjoy your analysis for the whole year. I started listening to Mainland FM ever since. My political thoughts on Nigeria has improved significantly. I already gave up on Nigeria. I hope one day all will be well. That's Ʞᴏᴟᴏᴡ. And then we have Akin Adigun. He's saying, good evening, the roundtable crew. Respect to all the analysts. My interest is in food and agriculture. I don't think the federal government should be buying tractors. It should rather be facilitating the manufacturing or importation of same. It is the governors that should be leading the way in agriculture. They all have land in their respective states. Yes, security is an issue, but with imagination, so much could still be achieved by each of the states on their own. And then on the government's need to do more, to be more flexible and sensitive in their approach or solutions to agriculture. For instance, tractors may be applicable in all cases. Okay, let's see whether I can squeeze one more call Squeezing one more call and then we'll call it a day on the show. Hello, good evening.
Good evening to the leader in town.
Yes, good evening, Prince Wise.
Thank you. My name is Prince Wise. Greeting you all from Amuodo.
You're welcome, sir.
It's number one for the first state. I think Odili is supposed to pay further the role. This is a government recognizing as well, which is recognizing. As a man, he's performing brilliantly in Abuja. We supported the first minister in Abuja and performed very well. He should leave President Sterling behind and face his work in Abuja. But Odili as a man, the man has prepared Odili today. If we read all what he said about Odili, if I Odili speak twice, that's for Odili. And for the president's speech, I take one thing home. That the agriculture demand happen to, and what I'm saying is all this why. When you talk to it's not enough. But what the work of state governor, I can remember when Odili was the governor of the state, he bought a lot of tractors. Our government Southwest, what are you doing? You beat right the refinery at the motor. The governor here goes to decide our boy wanted the free. Take them to farmland, pay them a fat salary. I think we can feed ourselves. We want the type of land we have. That's why I always talk about my mechanized farming. When you talk of security, yes, we must tackle security. But somewhere, so we may say food that comes from the north.
Hello. Oh, okay. I think we lost him. Hello. Good evening. Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, good evening, Madam Ifi.
The Wike's best friend.
Say, Madam Ifi, yeah. By side, say you are Wike's best friend.
Wike's best friend.
I want to talk about him now. Fight.
All right.
Don't need to lie.
All right, Madam Ifi, just 1-2 minutes because we need to leave the studio. Yeah.
Okay. You see, I would like that if you leave me, I would like that quarrel to go on.
Yeah.
Because you see the sitting governor now is doing projects all over the place, trying to win his people to his side. When you talk about him anyhow in Port Harcourt, shut up. The man is trying. So I would prefer it. Let them be fighting.
At least so that they can now continue concentrate on the people.
Yes, see, because if these people are together, laughing together, they will be doing all kinds of things. Now there is malice between them. Let them continue so that Fubara will concentrate. If we turn River State to Dubai for them, you understand?
All right.
That's my take.
Thank you, Madam Ifi, and Happy New Year in advance. God bless you.
But I thought Wike was your friend.
Thank you so much. All right, that will be the last call for the evening. I think it's been an interesting ride all through the year. Barrister Curtis Adida, Nordin Adegbenro, Joseph Fọlọ́runṣọ́, Ọlálékan, a good friend from the APC, and all the analysts that have also joined us on the show from Kano State, from Edo State. I remember a friend that came in from Edo State before the elections.
That's is the paper.
It's a paperweight. But so we had serious, interesting conversations, just only two ways of contributing to the development of Nigeria, and that's what we're going to continue to do. The show will get better. We will get more engagements, more conversations, more interesting talk in the year 2025, God willing. Mr. Curtis, by your final take for the evening.
Just to wish the listeners happy and prosperous New Year. Don't give up hope. Double your efforts. Pray harder, and then work harder.
Okay, pray harder and then work harder. It will be well. I think that's the message from Mr. Curtis to end the year on Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. God bless you, Mr. Curtis, for always making our time to be a part of the show. Nurdin, your final take for the year 2024 Political Roundtable, Mainland FM.
I think we should try and be assisting others. This time around, this is not the time to have it all. Whatever you have, share with someone, with other people, especially people around us. Government cannot do it alone, although we voted for them to do it. If they can't do it in our own little way, people around us, let's do something for them.
Okay, people around us, let the 5K man. Yeah. So with the little, let's try and help ourselves. Let's be our brother's keepers. Just let's share the little we have amongst ourselves. Like you said, if we have voted for people to do it and they're not doing it, let's find a way to help ourselves. And I also tag along on that same message to end the show, Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM for the year 2024. It's going to be a bigger program, bigger show, bigger conversation in the year 2025. Happy New Year in advance to all our listeners. God bless you.